Hi everyone, it's Cindy, and I have been going through my Halloween stuff. I finally got it out, Halloween and fall. And when I was going through it, I was kind of doing a little bit here and there, making a few tags and things. And then I came across this image I had copied from a book, and I was going to show you the actual page I copied, but I've misplaced it. So this is just half the page, but it was from Card Maker, September 2010 magazine. And more than likely, since I never subscribed to that magazine, I found it at a yard sale or thrift store somewhere, and then just got it and thinking, hey, I'm gonna look, see if I can see some ideas. And I know I found the pumpkin pattern, and I made a copy of it, and I probably donated the magazine. But anyway, so I decided I'm gonna try this. And when I first saw it, I thought there's 5 pieces. I need 5 copies. And then I will get back to that idea later. But then I thought, no, I don't need 5 copies. But this is my stuff I'm getting back to later that I have misplaced because I can't find my original. But anyway, so I made a couple of these, and I just think they're as cute as can be. Like, here's the one I've cut out. Now, let me make sure you can see it well. I just used different pieces of scrapbook paper, and a lot of it's not even scrapbook paper. It's just stuff I printed off, you know, digital, so I printed off the internet. There's the other one, and I left it on the page so you can see how I put it together on a page, and then of course you cut it out, or you could put it on the page, you know, better, and then you can trim it if you want the book page to show or whatever. So anyway, that's 2 I've made. So I thought, let's do this. And before I go too much further, I know you don't have this particular pattern, so I'll talk about that in a minute. But if you do have that magazine, then you've got the pattern. So anyway, what you do, and I don't want to do it with this one, so let's put this somewhere safe, is, you know, make a copy of your pattern and then trim it out, covering up my scissors, just roughly, because it's just easier. You don't have to deal with as much scrapbook paper. So I just go around it. As you can see, this is one I've copied, and I took the stem off. And that's because I made a bunch of copies, and I thought, you know, if I can get all these words and stuff off this page, I can get more copies on one page. So once again, I'll talk about that in a minute. But so, I mean, I'm sure you guys know how to do paper piecing. That's kind of what this is. I guess is what it definitely is. Oh, I also wanted to show you this one. I tried putting it together on the black paper with the spaces, and every time I've made this, I had trouble with this piece. So I still had trouble with this piece because it's got a little wider space, but I think that's pretty with the black background like that, with the pieces spread out a little bit. So anyway, it just depends on what look you want. So okay, so you got your 5 pieces and your stem up in the stem over here, and then I just grabbed some papers, and you can either cut them all apart at once, or if you're susceptible to losing the pieces like I am, I just cut one at a time. And then I get my glue stick, and I glue this particular piece on the back of a piece of paper. And of course, this is a great way to use scraps. This particular paper is bulletin board paper that like teachers would use on a bulletin board. I don't know where I got a big roll of orange of it at, but I've got a big roll of orange. All right, so I'm just going to set these aside. So there's that one. Let's get rid of that. Okay, here's another piece. So let's cut out another piece. I'll try to go. I try not to sling stuff around, knock things over. This paper is from Digital Scrapbook. Used to be Pixel Scrapper, so I think now it's digitalscrapbook.com, and you get free downloads, and they're just very generous there. So okay, just cut this out, set it there, get rid of that. Here's another piece. Okay, here's a piece we can use for our stem if we want. So let me grab the stem and glue that on. Grab it. Okay. Now, if anyone knows easier way to do this, let me know, because I've thought about different things. I thought, you know, you could make a master, copy this onto thicker chipboard or something on, and then you can just trace around these pieces instead of gluing them on, which is true. You wouldn't have as much thickness. So that is a way to do it. Okay, I'm just cutting that out and getting it separated. I think I was off screen there for a minute. Okay, I got 2 more pieces. So in each piece, I'm doing a different piece of scrapbook paper, of course. And I'm not, you know, taking time to figure out, oh, do I need to go this direction or this direction, whatever on the paper. If something's upside down, that just adds to the patchwork part of it. All right, one more sheet, and that's this one. Okay. All right, so now I have my 5 pieces plus my stem. Now, the next part is the part that would be the least amount of fun, actually, to some people. For me, it doesn't bother me, and that is fussy cutting it out. And I would just suggest that you take a little time, because if you want them to fit together, then they need to be cut on those lines pretty good. Like I said, I had that one piece that's always gives me fits, so I thought I might try to figure out what's wrong. Is something too small or too big on it, but I haven't done it yet. So anyway, all right. So then you have your piece. And if I didn't point out to it that these have piece number 3, piece number 4, piece number 5 on there. So that helps you keep up with them, sort of. It does on a few of them. But anyway, I'm not going to take the time to cut all these out, because you know what I'm saying when I say cut them out. So I have a set here that I've already cut out. So let's just get a piece of paper to glue them onto. And I just took one of these pages from this book, Crime and Punishment. Now here's something you need to remember. If you make your own pattern, keep a master copy, because you need to refer to the whole pumpkin. At least I do. Like, I need to know this is pattern 6 and it goes to the side. So I'm going to find pattern 6. And even though it is kind of the bottom and the side, I need to give it room to go around. Now, another thing, since I glued these pieces on like that, the picture's backwards. So if I could figure out a way to get this flipped over and I could see it, I mean, I can see it like that. I guess I could do it like that. You have to think reverse. Now, that might trick people up. So, then I think you could turn your pattern over, and if you held it up to the light, you can see it fairly well. Oh yeah, I did try cutting this out and gluing them on there, and gluing it, the piece where it says piece 5 upside down. But then I had to really look to see my lines, because my lines were obviously glued backwards, so it was hard to see it. So you have to work out what works best for you. Is flipping it upside down and gluing it, and I can see the cut fine. Just looking at this and reversing it in your brain's fine, or flipping your paper over is fine. So I'm going to try to do it looking at this. And since I've done this a few times, you think I'd be better at it. But let me get my cheat sheet here and know that this is probably the one, though, that I did flipped. So see the difference? See how my stem is going one way on the other, and then my bigger piece is over here. So this is the one I'm working on now. So I was just trying to get an idea how it's fitting on the paper. So I'm not going to glue this down just yet. So here's piece 6. Now piece 5 is what I want next. And the reason is because it's got this little divot here. If you can see this, I don't mean to make this any more complicated, but this is a really big point to me. See this little scallop here? It's been cut, so that helps me line things up, that little scallop there. Piece 5 has that little piece there sticking out, so that helps me line this up, so I know that it goes a continuation. Make sure I got piece 5. That's piece 2. I didn't think that was quite right. Piece 5. So that little part right there helps finish that scallop. I don't know if that made any sense or not, but once that gets lined up, I know I can fit my pumpkin on the paper fairly well, because then I've got just piece 4 over here, and I've got room for my pumpkin. So I think I can glue this one on now. Anyway, like I said, I try not to make this as any more complicated than it is. I want to use art glitter glue since I have 2 thicknesses of paper. So I think am I out? Surely I'm not out. Okay, come on. Okay, there we go. We're not out. Oh, I may be out of it. I definitely need to refill it. Okay, so I'm going to put it that way. I'll just use the Fabri-Tac and get it to come out. All right, piece 5 is going on. And I'm lining up this little thing here with my curve. Okay, and then next I'm going to do piece 2. Hopefully you can see that piece 2 right there, which is this big one, and it's got scallops at the top, which is I know where my stem goes there. So this is one I said I've had trouble before, but that time it fit pretty good, so maybe the fault is with me. Uh-oh, did I lose piece 3? Nope, it's over here. See what I mean about me losing stuff? It didn't surprise me I couldn't find that original page, but... Okay, piece 3, and then piece 4, which, you know, I'm not doing them in order, I'm doing them how I can get the pumpkin back together. The least amount of thinking possible. Now the stem. There we go. All right, there is our pumpkin. And you know, I could have inked around it. I didn't think about trying that yet, so that's something to do, think about. Okay, so that is my pattern. Now, let me make sure I'm checking on my notes over here. I talked to you about flipping it over if you wanted to glue it on, but then you have to try to see the lines. And since it's kind of important that you cut it pretty decent on those lines, it's better for me to see the lines and then try to flip the image in my mind. Okay, my first thought, like I said, when I saw this was, okay, I have 5 pieces, 5 copies, right? So, and the thought behind that is I can make like 5 at one time. So here's the whole thing. I haven't cut it apart or not. Haven't cut it apart any yet, except for the stem. There's 1 pumpkin, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then my stems. I did 5 stems. Okay, so you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, the fussy cutting that would involve. But if you cut number 6 out of this and say, all right, I cut 6 out, or you might start at the beginning, cut one of the ones. On this one, I'll cut piece 2, I can't talk, piece 3, piece 4, 5, and 6. Then you can have one whole pumpkin and you don't have to worry about it. And like I said, this would give you 5 pumpkins. If you're wanting to mass produce them, that might be the way to go. I think it's simpler to do it the way I just did it. Take your pattern, cut it apart, and glue it, and cut it, and then, you know. So anyway, I was just trying to think of all different things to tell you. And I also, since I had that original page, I put it down, and I made a copy, then put the copy down and that original page down. I'm saying original, my original copy. And I was able to cut 2 pumpkins at once. So I thought, well, if I do this idea, and all these ideas, trying to work up samples, I don't want to waste all this paper, you know, and ink and all that. So I went and made several copies and glued mine to, cut them out and glued it all to one sheet so I can cut 5 at one time. And that worked out well. Like, here's my copy. And, you know, if this ever becomes like, oh, hey, wait a minute, there's a copyright issue, then I'm like, okay, I get it. And what would I do instead? And that would be maybe what you would do, because you don't have my particular pattern, is go on the internet, find you a pattern, and then cut it up. And let me get my ruler. So I tried doing that here, and this was me tracing this one when I was first thinking about it, just tracing it. I think it would not be a problem at all because they were just showing you the different pieces, and theirs is cut up, right? So my first thought was that space between there, but that's just them moving the pieces around. So I think as long as your line here wasn't very thick, and as when you cut your pieces apart, if you would cut like in the center of that line, I think you wouldn't have any problems. So first of all, I thought we would do it on this colored version of it, and I should have got, what is this? Okay, it's a little thin, but maybe it will work. So my first thing I would look for is something like this, so that I can get a line that will help me line the pumpkin up. So I might do this as one piece, and then no, that wouldn't help me line it up with it. I need to split my divot. Okay, we'll do it on this one. Split the divot like this. So this might be another piece. I know I don't have very good pieces, but that, I still didn't do it. These, I'm not sure what I'm thinking. I want that things. Okay, I'm splitting it in the wrong place. Yeah, I did it okay here. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways to make it so it goes easier back together. But as long as you have your original picture, I don't think you'd have a lot of trouble. And then number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the stem. Okay, if that's kind of confusing, then I made a pencil copy of that. So we can do it another way. I'm thinking I'm going this way, because I split that in 2, and then maybe like this. That's similar to how this one was originally done. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it should be easy to line up because of these scallops have been cut in half. Okay, anyway, I hope that wasn't too confusing. And if you have to watch it 3 or 4 times, you know, I probably would to figure out what I'm talking about. But I just want to wait, if you guys think you might want to do this, I just want there to be a way for you to do it without you having to have that particular pattern. But it was from the Card Maker magazine, September 2010. Now, let me look at my notes again to make sure. Yeah, do that. Keep a copy of the whole thing so you have something to refer back to. Yes. Okay, I thought this can be done with other shapes. It can be done with hearts. It can be done with Christmas stockings or Christmas ornaments. It can be done with Easter eggs. As long as you have a basic shape that you can divide up with the lines, I think it can be done. So that's something to think about. Also, other materials, like you could do, oops, sorry, that was my paintbrush. You could do fabric, you could do wallpaper if you wanted to, and I think if you did fabric, you would probably have to trace around these pieces. I guess you could glue it on, I don't know. I just decided fabric wasn't worth the trouble for me because I like my patterns of paper better than I liked my patterns of fabric. So, and wallpaper would be okay if you had enough in the colors that you needed for your project. So, but anyway, some things to think about. I just thought you might like to see these this project and might want to give it a try. And it's fun and it's not that hard. Once you just get a pattern and start gluing and cutting, it's not that hard, and you can make them fairly quickly. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.